Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. And what about you?
I had a couple of different tabs open and I'm closing them out now while I was waiting. Sweet.
Yes, yes,
Okay, you said
sure.
that you're good. How are you? I feel like I saw you a couple weeks ago. So, how have you been? What have
Yes,
you been up to?
I've been up to nothing. That's the latest news,
Hey, that's
obviously.
okay.
But I wanted to wish you happy Easter. Like, I'm sure it is Easter,
Thank
right?
you. Yes, it is Easter. It is Easter. I have done a little bit today with my boyfriend, but my family celebrate much more than I do, and they're all
Hmm.
celebrating back home. They go to, I'm not super religious personally, but living in
Hmm.
Spain, Easter is quite an important holiday here because most of the country is Catholic. So there's like a lot of parades that they do, and people buy and give each other chocolates and what are some other things? People get like really dressed up and they go to church. It's kind of the
Hmm.
same in the US. People get dressed up and they go to church, but there's a lot. The traditions between here and the US are a little different. There's like specific foods that people eat for Easter, and people do like Easter egg hunts. I don't know if you've ever
Hmm.
seen a video of this. And so, with that, those are the types of things that my family do back home and that I think they're doing today. I actually, after I'm done with like my time on Cambly for the afternoon, my dad's just tried to call me, and so I think they're probably getting up right now and doing
Hmm.
all of their Easter festivities. And so yeah, thank you. It's a little bit different, but nah, whatever. Gives me a reason to eat lots of chocolate, which I'm definitely not mad about.
That's true.
And um, for you, so Easter is just like not a thing there at all.
No, actually, possibly the Christians do celebrate Easter, but we
Okay,
only know the name Easter, and other than that, nothing
don't know
really gets
much else.
celebrated here. We mostly celebrate Christmas, and some
Okay,
of us celebrate Halloween, but Easter is something that nobody really knows about, like Easter, Thanksgiving, and all of those.
yeah,
So, but the only thing I know about is Easter is those Easter eggs hunt. That is what I saw in like
the Easter
videos in the
eggs.
internet. So it's nice to know that this is how it takes place. So yeah, that's a great festival.
That really does happen. Yeah, yeah. There's a few things about Easter that are a little strange. The thing is it's quite a it's a religious holiday, but in the United States, there's like a lot of other parts
Mhm.
to Easter, like the Easter egg hunt. People make like baskets for their kids and fill up the baskets with like candy and stuffed animals or
Mhm.
books or whatever. And like the Easter bunny comes to visit.
Yes.
And here in Spain, the Easter bunny doesn't exist. Or for example, my boyfriend grew up in England. I think the Easter bunny exists there. But just yesterday, we saw one of our Irish friends, and he was like, Troy, is it real? Do they really have the Easter bunny in the US? And he
Mhm.
was telling me that they don't do that in Ireland either, which I thought was kind of funny because when you're a little
Mhm.
kid, obviously you're like really convinced, like, the Easter Bunny's coming, I'm so excited.
Right.
And now as an adult, it's funny to meet people and then be like, so is the tooth fairy real in America? And I'm like, well, yeah. Or, is the Easter Bunny real in America? Does Santa really come? And is that true that you guys do that? And I find it kind of funny because now I'm like,
Mm,
yeah,
obviously.
that thing does exist. Do you
Well, they
have
exist in
any?
our hearts. Like Santa is always going to exist in our hearts, and that's what
Exactly,
it matters, right?
exactly. I will tell you something that I think is really interesting socially
Mhm.
now. I would be interested to hear how this is there. Um, so obviously, Americans are like notorious for complaining about nothing, and somehow there's always a way for us to like we say like butt heads, like fight each other with words,
Mhm.
whatever it may be. And I would say in recent years. So for me, I grew up with like Santa visiting my house, and it
Hmm.
was so special. Like my family made it so special. The Tooth Fairy came to visit me. Like the Easter Bunny came to visit. All of these things. It, I say this because now in like American culture, there are some people who like don't believe in telling their kids about Santa because they don't want to lie to their kids. And I think this is really interesting because you're like, oh, it lives in your heart forever. And it does, it does. Those were so special. My Christmases were so special because of,
Yes.
obviously, I love my family. I love spending time with them, but like the magic of Christmas is, the part of it that I remember. And I think that this is really interesting because some people are like, oh, we don't want to lie to our kids, so we just won't tell them that these things exist. And is there like any sort of like conversation like this about Santa there?
Well, my parents were not like that. So I personally always believed in Santa. Like when I
Yeah,
was even in sense, like I had sense that I knew that this was not supposed to exist, but somehow I
yeah,
convinced myself that no, this happens
yeah,
for real because I used to get gifts. All
yeah,
Christmas mornings I used to get gifts. So I think it's a very nice kind of tradition. You don't actually lie to your kids, to be really
this is
honest.
what
It is
I
just
think
a
as
simple little,
well.
enjoyment that the kids feel just for one day in the entire year it happens.
Yeah,
So I think it is a nice way. So it's not like lying to them, it's just giving them something without, they don't really want it to you. They want it
yeah,
from Santa. So it's like, a nice feeling that they're getting it from Santa, their wish gets
mhm,
true. So all of these little beliefs are actually very important for kids, for a childhood,
yeah,
for having a good childhood memory. So I think
yeah.
I don't think really believe that this is lying. It's actually, making
It's
those
like
memories
telling a
special.
story. It's creating a story. No, I
Yes.
agree. I agree. I think, gosh, if I have kids, I am definitely telling them that Santa exists for sure. Santa's coming to visit every year, even when they're adults.
Hmm.
Even now, my mom, when I'm home for Christmas, like Santa goes to her house for us, and and I'm an adult, and that's fine. But in like in your culture, obviously, I think Americans do this a lot, and I honestly think some of it is because American companies capitalize on their opportunity to make money. But
Hmm.
are there like many how do I say this? Like characters for holidays or like special maybe life events, like things like Santa or the Easter Bunny or whatever it may be that like I wouldn't know about? Do these
Well, in
are the other ones
India,
in your culture?
we don't really have those, like, imaginary characters who come and give
Yeah.
us gifts. So most of our festivals are just like, spending time with our families and all. Like you
Yeah.
have heard of Diwali, Holi, and then we have
Mhm.
Eid. We have so many other different festivals. From North India to South India, there are different festivals. But Santa, this thing, or you could say Tooth Fairy, these are really unique to like the
Yeah.
Western tradition because
Yeah.
normally over here we have these religious festivals. We are going to worship our god or goddesses, and we are
Yeah.
just going to spend time with our families, eat sweets, and all that. So we don't really have any characters for a
Yeah,
specific
that's fair.
festival.
That's fair enough. Something that makes me laugh here in Spain is so obviously I was talking about like the tooth fairy. So when I was
Hmm.
growing up, if I like lost one of my teeth, you have to like put it in a little box under your pillow,
Hmm.
and then you would wake up in the morning and there's money or I don't know, candy, whatever. And here in Spain, they don't have the tooth fairy. Instead, they have um, a rat,
Oh,
and
okay.
the rat's name is Ratoncito Perez, and he comes and he. Let me back up. I think this is really funny. We were talking about, oh, it's not a lie, it's just a story. So obviously, I live in the capital of Spain, and
Hmm.
all the kids know like Ratoncito. They all know who he is. They when the kids lose their teeth, they wait for the rat to come and visit, and I think the rat brings them money. I don't know, something similar to the tooth fairy.
Well, it's
But
a version of Tooth Fairy after all.
yes, yeah, a dirtier version of Tooth Fairy.
Hmm.
But anyways, I say this. I live in the city center, and right here in like the middle of the city, It's
Mm.
mostly just like apartments. There's like I don't. There's a bunch of apartments. It looks like Europe, but
Mm-hmm.
down in like the middle of the city, there are plaques, like these like metal signs that say where I don't know, like history. There's one in the middle of the city, and it's like the home of Ratoncito Perez, and
Oh, okay.
it gives a whole description, like here's his house, and da 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 da. And so, like sometimes when you walk past, it will be like parents showing their children, like look,
Mm.
that's where he lives. That's where he lives. And I just think part of it is like really sweet because there's part of it at home where like your parents make it special for you, but then like also whenever you have like this other stuff in the world where like adults try to like
Mm.
keep the magic alive, I think it's fun. Even you can do so much in the US for like Santa on Christmas Eve. You can look online and like see where Santa's at. You can make phone calls to like a certain number and it sounds like Santa like picks
Oh.
up. You can
Mm.
send letters to Santa, like you can do all this stuff. And I'm a
Wow,
big fan of
that's so cool. I've never
that.
heard of these before.
Really, really. You should
Yeah.
look it up around Christmas time, because, for example, I'm a little too old to have used some of these things. But for
Mm.
example, I have a little brother right now, and he's 10,
Mm.
and so Santa, he's like really into it every year, and my family still very much keep it alive.
Yeah.
And so on Christmas Eve, you can log on to like santatracker.com or something, and you can see where Santa's at. And
Wow.
then you can like I said, you can put letters in like around Christmas time. They put, you know, those like big metal boxes that they use for mail in movies.
Mm-hmm.
They have like ones like those, but they look like Christmas themed, and you can drop off your letter to Santa. Uh, but the reason I know about the phone call though, that has existed for a while. Because when I was younger, like Santa was still coming to visit me. If I started being bad, my mom would be like, Santa hotline. Like I'm gonna call him and tell him what you're doing if you don't act better, whatever it may be. So that's fun though.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Mm.
If you ever have questions about that, I'm happy to answer them if I didn't answer them now. But that's interesting to me that there aren't more characters out in like I guess
Mm-hmm.
more Eastern traditions. But anyways,
Right.
oh, that's exciting.
Absolutely.
That's exciting. Sweet. Well, we only have a few seconds left. It was a super,
Oh,
super short
yeah.
lesson
Right.
today, but um, I guess I hope you have a good week. A good
Yes.
week, and
I hope you
we'll
have a
talk
good
with you
weekend
soon.
too.
Sweet. I'm gonna leave this here so I can send a message to the next person that I'm tutoring, and
Yes,
I will
sure.
speak to you soon. Bye.
Yes. Bye.